Good day, everyone. I am continuing part 2 of my Bufo Ceremony. This is the actual ceremony itself, and the experience that I had during the ceremony. So we got up that morning around 8, I believe. It was like around 7 or 8. Let me just start off by saying this. The Friday when I arrived at the retreat, I was greeted by the shaman and his beautiful wife. They're such a beautiful couple, and there's so much love there. It was an outdoor camp retreat. My first time ever camping. So that was an experience, a good experience. I found that I enjoy camping. I never knew that, but I like camping, and I'm going to do more of it. And, as people arrived and checked in, it was such a loving environment from the very beginning. Such a lovely environment. I connected with people on a level that I never thought I could connect with strangers. For an example, I was greeted by this one person, and we instantly greeted each other as best friends, and we hugged and cried. It was so weird, but it was beautiful. So on that Friday, we didn't do too much. The ceremony was on Saturday. The first ceremony was on Saturday. We woke up around 7. 8 had, and we did yoga. It was great. My first time trying yoga. It was good. The person who actually was teaching the yoga class, she was amazing. She was amazing, very encouraging. After the yoga, we went around, we introduced ourselves, and we kind of like set intentions. We put it out there in the universe. Each individual introduced themselves, and they basically shared as much as they wanted to share and their intentions. Of course, I set my intentions for healing for past childhood traumas, healing for this transition in my life, going through a very nasty divorce. So there's a lot of things that I set my intentions for, but basically healing and just dealing with the situations that are really, really weighing me down. So around 10 a.m. it was time for ceremony. Prior to ceremony, the shaman, he went around to each individual. He prayed with each individual separately. He cleansed each individual separately. And it started out with the cleansing and what is called rapé, which is I think it's like a very pure and strong tobacco, and it is administered by inhaling. The shaman blows it in each of your nostrils, and you're supposed to inhale it. And what can I say about that? It's relaxing. Rapé is very relaxing. And it burns a little, but it's very relaxing. It makes your nose run, of course, but you feel it. It gives your body a very relaxed feeling. So I think that would be good for anxiety, for people who, like myself, who suffer from anxiety, because I did feel very relaxed after that. While the shaman cleansed me, he used smoke, sage, things of that nature, and he had this I would say brush made of feathers, and when he was cleansing me, one of the feathers came out, and I kept it. I keep it close to my chest. So that's what this is. And I was very nervous. The very first person to go up to have his personal time with the shaman, after he inhaled the fumes, he fell back, and he was gone. But his body was doing this. His body was like, you know how you pull a fish, if you've ever been fishing, you know how or even seen a fish out of water, how it flails around on the ground, trying to get air. His body was doing sort of kind of like that thing. That's what it reminded me of. Another thing, safety first. I've heard Joe Rogan say that he's done DMT a numerous amount of times by himself. I don't know what would make someone try this alone, but what I witnessed, I would not recommend. I don't know if you're out there and you're well connected and you've never experienced DMT, any form of DMT, please do not do it alone. Do not do it alone. You need an experienced shaman. You need someone who has some sort of experience in the medical field. I would, suggest as well. Do not do this alone. It's not anything that you can do recreational. I'm telling you, based on what I saw, no, you could seriously injure yourself physically. Do not do this alone. So you may be well connected. A friend may say, oh, I have some of that, or what. No, do not do it alone. The gentleman who went first, it kind of scared me, because of how the reaction he had to it. It kind of like frightened me, and it gave me pause. I was like, ooh, do you really want to do this? My ego kicked in, and my ego was like, you could, have an experience worse than this. You're on the outside looking in, so you don't really know what's going on with his actual experience as far as his consciousness is concerned. But excuse me, I can tell you that his body was all over the place. Several gentlemen had to assist in just keeping him safe. It was that bad for him. But another thing that was interesting about the very first person, whatever his experience was, he was like, I remember. And it was so great. He was like yelling, I remember. And we all cheered him on. We don't know what he remembered, but we were just like cheering him on. I was afraid before that. So after I saw that, I was really afraid. So it was a while before I decided to go up and try. I saw a couple of people before I went up stop breathing. The shaman tells you, during yoga, we practice breathing. Breathing is very important. When your consciousness leaves your body, it disconnects you in a way that, the things that are ran by your subconscious, such as your breathing, your subconscious is I want to say, I'm just going to use the word hijack, but I don't mean it in a bad way. Your subconscious is hijacked and you're off somewhere, so things that your subconscious is in charge of, such as automated functions such as your heart beating and breathing, functions like that. So again, please do not try this alone. You need someone there to make sure that you don't forget to breathe, because I saw it twice. People like forgetting to breathe, and one person, he kind of scared me again, because he was there, but the shaman had to really work with him. He kept doing him like this and doing him like that, and saying, hey, remember, always breathing. So the shaman had to get this one person to he continuously had to get him to breathe, because he just wasn't breathing. But he came out of his experience fine, and everything went well for him. Like I said before, you are on the outside observing a person's body, but you don't know what's going on in their consciousness. So what you can perceive as a bad reaction isn't always the case consciously. So there was one person who, after those two people, there were like three or four people that went before me. So the last person, the energy kind of like changed, and I began to relax even more. I don't know if it was due to the rapé, or if it was just after the first two difficult experiences, or people who had what I perceived as difficult experiences. There were a few people after that did not have difficult experiences. When they inhaled, they just lost consciousness, I would say, or their body just fell back and it was immobile. So they just laid there and they allowed the experience, they surrendered to the experience, and they allowed it to take over. But personally, I don't even see how that's possible, that you can even fight this sort of thing, because once it's in there, once you inhale, you do a deep inhale and you hold, once you release, you just start losing physical control. So I don't see how anyone could actually fight the medication. So no, there's a couple of squirrels playing. When it was my turn, when it was my turn, I went up. The shaman has a prayer, a prayer that he prepared for you to say, and I'm going to try to post the words to it later of the prayer. But it was a beautiful prayer about healing and surrendering to the medication, surrendering to the experience. And it was very beautiful. So when it's my turn to go up, I go up. The shaman blesses me. And again, you get a cleansing, and I believe you get a little more rapé before you actually take in the medicine. So I go up, he does the rapé. Okay, I relaxed. Like I said, it's very relaxing. And he prepared the medicine for me to inhale. So I had to take a deep breath in as I inhale, like sort of like that, and then you hold it as long as you can, and I exhale. When I exhale, it's like reality just folded in on me, and I can remember going back, and as I was laying on the ground because I could not move physically, the medication started taking over and I was out. You can't really describe it, but I was in this place, and I don't mean to get emotional, but I was in this place. And you know, the thing is, I've always been a dreamer. I receive messages through sleep in my dreams, so I am at a certain level and I think that all of my dreaming, all of my life I dream, and I've been practicing remembering dreams because that's been a part of my life, all of my life, and it prepared me for that moment. I'm able to recall not everything, but I'm able to recall a lot. And I believe it's because I've had a lot of practice in the dream world. And I was met not with so many visuals, but I had some visuals like of different lives that I've had with this one person, with this person. To my surprise, he's a soulmate, stronger than a soulmate, a counterpart, a twin flame, and we've had so many lives together. So on this journey, I was taken on a journey, and I was told someone was with me. I did not have visuals. It was just they were on this side of me on this journey it was like being on a movie set, different lives, but they're like a movie set. I was able to take a look at different lives and different moments in my life, previous lives, this actual lives, and what I'm thinking may be somewhere in the future. And I say future because when I had some visuals, but not like a whole lot, but I remember seeing myself at an older age, so I'm gonna assume that was like a future kind of like thing. But I'm with this person, and it's just so much love. And I was told that everything in my life, I wrote it. I wrote everything in my life, every accident, every coincidence, I wrote it. I wrote it. It serves me in some way that I can't see here, but it serves me on a grander scale. And I can remember feeling how it all made sense. I was like, oh, okay, well, it all makes sense. I remember that feeling of of knowing everything and why it happened the way that it happened, like different things that happened in my life. I was being someone was showing me why it had to happen. Wasn't that nice that someone